Many children with ADHD struggle with the after school hours and with homework. As a mum of a child with ADHD, this used to be a huge struggle for my son. The hours between 3 and 5 were pure torture for all of us. Not only was he coming off of ADHD medication, but he was also hungry and tired and worn out from trying so hard all day long to just hold it together. But I started seeing significant improvement when I began incorporating some strategies into our after school routine. Now, in this video, I'm going to share each of those strategies with you. But before I do, I want to introduce myself. My name is Dana Kay, and I'm a board certified holistic health and nutrition practitioner. And I work with families all across the USA, helping them naturally reduce their child's ADHD symptoms. To date, I have helped close to 1,000 families, including my own, to find relief from ADHD symptoms naturally. My son isn't on ADHD medication anymore, and he's thriving. So stick with me for the next couple of minutes as I share some of my favorite tips and tricks to make the after-school routine a little bit easier for your child with ADHD. So tip number 1, if you don't already have a routine, set one. Children with ADHD thrive under routine, so make sure your after-school routine is similar each day. Now, in my experience, visual schedules tend to work very well with kids with ADHD. And if these kids have the same routine each day after school, these visual schedules help them see and know exactly what is coming next. You can even get them to mark off each task as they finish. I would recommend that the first thing on this routine be a snack. Most kids are very hungry when they finish up with school, so start the routine with a nutritious snack that will balance their blood sugar and provide them with nutrients their bodies need. Our favorite after-school snack is a jam-packed smoothie with protein and superfoods. Also incorporate homework time into this daily routine, but as far away from bedtime as possible. Make sure that homework is done at the same time and place each and every day. Tip number 2, don't quit if the routine isn't working. Now, many parents, they start a routine and then quit when their children put up a fight. Not too long ago, one of the mums in my program came to me and said, Dana, I've tried using an after-school routine with my son, but he fights it the entire time. I am done trying. Now, I 1000% understand her frustration. I have been there for sure. But what I learned the hard way and what I reminded her is that it takes time for a routine to stick. Don't throw in the towel just because it's not working after a couple of weeks. These routines, they're not temporary. When they become a part of your life on a consistent basis, that's when they start really helping. So keep it up, even if it is hard during those first few weeks. Tip number 3, build in breaks to the homework part of the routine. As a part of the daily routine, build in breaks that your child knows are coming. For instance, you could say that every 15 minutes or 5 or 10 minutes, depending on what works best for your child, there is a built-in break. Again, make this a consistent part of the routine, and eventually it will become second nature. Children will begin to understand that they only have to focus for a few minutes before they get a break. The anticipation of the break helps them push through with their homework. And tip number 4, plan something fun afterwards. Just as those regular breaks help children push through the hard aspects of homework time, so does the anticipation of something fun afterwards. I like to use the when-then strategy. When homework is finished, then screens are allowed for 30 minutes before dinner. When homework is finished, then you may play outside. When homework is finished, then we'll go out and do the Legos. Tip number 5, be available to help. Stay close. Some children with ADHD perform better, especially with tasks like homework, when a parent is close by. That's why teachers often sit certain students near their desks. It's the same principle. Our nearness, it motivates them and it keeps them working. And tip number 6, finally, work to reduce the inflammation in their body, brain, and gut. When the inflammation is reduced, it becomes much easier for a child to focus. This was how I was ultimately able to get my son off his ADHD medications. I worked to reduce the inflammation in his body and then slowly, with the help of his doctor, titrated his medication down until he was off it completely. It was a process for sure, and not something that happened overnight. Start by getting rid of the most common inflammatory foods, which are gluten, dairy, and soy, and replace these foods with whole, micronutrient-dense foods like whole fruits and veggies, grass-fed protein sources. And then over time, if the inflammatory foods stay out of the diet completely and these whole foods stay in the diet, most children see significant improvement in their after-school behavior. Their emotions are more regulated and their focus is better. Now, I'd be happy to talk more about any of these strategies, so don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Give these tips a try and let me know how it goes.